In the world of sports, there is no competition quite like the UEFA Champions League. In the tournament's 68 years, there's been 23 winners with iconic goals, celebrations, and memorable matches littered throughout its history. From Zidane's volley to Manchester United's victory in 1999, here are 10 unforgettable moments in the Champions League. 10. Lionel Messi vs Real Madrid 2011. Where better to kick off our countdown than with the greatest player of all time? On the 27th of April 2011, Barcelona visited rivals Real Madrid for the first leg of a Champions League quarter-final clash. As was always the case in these games, it was a hard-fought contest between the two teams, packed with world-class players and fierce competitors. But despite the tough nature of the game, the quality of Lionel Messi made the difference once again. In the 87th minute of the game, Messi picked up the ball near the halfway line and dribbled his way through 4 Real Madrid players, going past Diarra, Sergio Ramos, Albiol and Marcelo, before calmly finishing past Iker Casillas. The goal put Barcelona 2-0 up and gave them a strong lead to defend ahead of the second leg in Barcelona, and will be remembered as one of the competition's most iconic goals. 9. Didier Drogba vs Bayern 2012. When speaking of iconic Champions League performances, one of the very first players worth mentioning is former Chelsea striker Didier Drogba. In 2012, Chelsea faced off against German giants Bayern in the final, and with the game being played at the Allianz Arena, home of Bayern Munich, Chelsea came into the game as heavy underdogs. It was a cagey game for most of the contest, with Bayern dominating the chances, and they finally broke the deadlock with just under 10 minutes left, as Thomas Müller headed in from close range. But after that, it became the Didier Drogba show. In the 88th minute, the Ivorian striker jumped highest and powered a header past Bayern keeper Manuel Neuer to equalise for Chelsea and send the game into extra time and eventually penalties. Goals from David Luiz, Frank Lampard and Ashley Cole gave Chelsea the chance to win the Champions League with one final spot kick. Up stepped Didier Drogba at the age of 35, and in his final season with Chelsea, after 8 years at the club, his goal from the penalty spot crowned Chelsea champions and remains one of the greatest moments in Champions League history. 8. Zinedine Zidane vs Bayer Leverkusen 2002. The Champions League is known for great players scoring great goals, and very few players have a better goal catalogue in this competition than Real Madrid legend Zinedine Zidane. And arguably his greatest one came on the biggest stage, the Champions League final. On the 15th of May 2002, the final was being played between Real Madrid and Bayer Leverkusen in Glasgow. It was Leverkusen's first ever UCL final, but a 12th for Spanish giants Real Madrid, and it didn't take long for the Spanish side to show their superiority. After just 8 minutes, Real Madrid took the lead through star striker Raúl, but a determined Leverkusen would equalise just 5 minutes later to tie the game. On the stroke of half-time, however, the game's decisive moment would come from Zidane, as he produced a moment of magic. A deflected cross from left-back Roberto Carlos fell to Zidane on the edge of the Bayer box, and the midfielder sent a half volley on his weak foot into the top corner of the net. Real Madrid won the game 2-1, and Zidane's goal will go down in history as one of the best and most iconic goals in the history of the game. 7. Manchester United 1999 champions. In the 90s, Manchester United were the dominant force in English football, winning 5 Premier League titles and 3 FA Cups in just 6 years between 1993 and 1999. They boasted one of the best squads in Europe, bolstered by academy graduates and seasoned pros such as David Beckham, Gary Neville, Ryan Giggs and Peter Schmeichel. But despite their domestic dominance, United and Sir Alex were still not satisfied, because they missed the trophy the club truly craved, the Champions League. However, on the 26th of May 1999, Sir Alex and United had a chance to put things right. But standing in their way was a formidable Bayern team, also on the hunt for European glory. Bayern took the lead just 6 minutes into the contest through Mario Basler, stunning United early in the game. The Bayern defense would stay strong for nearly the rest of the game, successfully defending everything United threw at them. With 90 minutes played, the fourth official indicated there would be 3 minutes of added time, just as United won a corner. Beckham's corner eventually found its way to the feet of Teddy Sheringham, who finished into the bottom corner. Manchester United had forced extra time, or so everyone thought, but just 30 seconds later, United won another corner, and this time it ended up at the feet of substitute Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who tapped it in from close range. United were champions and stunned Bayern Munich, whose fans were already in a celebratory mood just a minute before. It's one of the greatest comebacks in the history of the game and an iconic night in the career of Sir Alex Ferguson. 6. Liverpool 2005 champions. Speaking of iconic comebacks in the Champions League, another one makes the list, and this time it's Manchester United's arch-rivals Liverpool, who faced AC Milan in the 2005 final. AC Milan came into the final full of confidence, having beaten Barcelona, Manchester United and Inter Milan on their route to the final. They also boasted a squad full of world-renowned players, such as Maldini, Seedorf, Crespo, Kaká and Shevchenko. Liverpool were no pushovers, however, and led by captain Steven Gerrard, they were a determined team, beating Leverkusen, Juventus and Chelsea on their way to the final. But Liverpool were still underdogs, and AC Milan's superiority was evident for most of the game. Milan raced out of the blocks, scoring in the very first minute of the game through captain Paolo Maldini. Hernan Crespo extended the Italians' lead in the 39th minute, finishing a pass from strike partner Andriy Shevchenko. Crespo would score again just before half-time to give Milan a 3-0 lead heading into the break. The game was seemingly over after just 45 minutes, and there were celebrations in the Milan dressing room. But as the saying goes, football is a game of two halves. Liverpool struck back after the break with 2 goals in 2 minutes from Gerrard and Smicer, and it was game on. Just 3 minutes after Smicer's goal, Liverpool were awarded a penalty, after Gattuso brought down Gerrard in the box. Xabi Alonso missed the penalty but converted the rebound to draw the Reds level in the 60th minute. The rest of the game was hotly contested, with chances to take a 4-3 lead falling to both sides, but the game would go to extra time and eventually penalties. With Liverpool leading 3-2 in the shootout, the final and decisive kick fell to Ukrainian striker Andriy Shevchenko. His effort was saved by Liverpool keeper Dudek, and crowned Liverpool 2006 Champions League winners. The game is now famously known as the Miracle of Istanbul, and one of the most iconic games in the competition's history. 5. Sheriff Tiraspol defeat Real Madrid 2021. The Champions League is known for being a competition where the big boys of European football go head-to-head for the game's biggest prize. But every now and then, the smaller clubs steal the headlines in the Champions League. This was the case when Moldovan minnows Sheriff Tiraspol visited the Santiago Bernabeu on the 28th of September 2021. Sheriff qualified for the Champions League group stage for the first time in their history in the 2021-2022 season. The club from the Moldovan League has a stadium with a capacity of just 14,000 seats, 6 times smaller than Real Madrid's. But a determined Sheriff team put in a fight in front of over 60,000 Spanish fans. As expected, Madrid dominated most of the play throughout the encounter, but it was Sheriff who took a shock lead through Yaxiobi in the 25th minute as he headed past Thibaut Courtois. Real Madrid continued to threaten the Sheriff goal, going close multiple times through Karim Benzema and Vinicius Jr. Benzema would eventually draw the Spanish club level from the spot in the 65th minute after converting a spot kick. Real Madrid were expected to go on to win the game following Benzema's equaliser, but despite putting more pressure on Sheriff's defence, the Moldovan champions stood strong and took a late lead through midfielder Sebastian Thiel in the 90th minute. A late rally from Real Madrid wasn't enough to break down the Sheriff barrier, and the Moldovan side walked away with all 3 points to secure arguably the biggest upset in the history of the Champions League. 4. Cristiano Ronaldo versus Atletico Madrid 2018. We can't speak about the Champions League without mentioning the competition's greatest ever player, Cristiano Ronaldo. 141 goals, 5 trophies, and a catalogue of great moments. The Portuguese star dominated the Champions League for over a decade and has an endless list of iconic nights to his name. However, on the 12th of March 2019, he produced perhaps the greatest individual performance in the history of the competition against Atletico Madrid. Juve were drawn against Atletico Madrid and Diego Simeone in the round of 16 of the 2018-2019 Champions League campaign in what was Ronaldo's first season with the Italian Giants. Atletico took the lead in the tie after winning the first leg 2-0 in Spain through goals from Diego Godin and Gimenez. Atletico were heavy favourites to advance to the semis as they had a great defensive record, and it was unlikely they would concede 3 goals and lose the tie, and their fans were confident. But Ronaldo had different ideas. As the second leg kicked off, Juve immediately looked the sharper of the two sides and took the lead in the 27th minute through Ronaldo as he headed the ball past Jan Oblak. Both sides threatened to get the next goal, but the game remained 1-0 to the break. Juve started the second half strong and got the second goal. It was that man again. Another Cristiano Ronaldo header crossed the line and gave Juventus a 2-0 lead, with 49 minutes gone. The tie was level with all the momentum in Juve's favour. The next 30 minutes of the game was cagey, but eventually Atletico buckled under the pressure as they gave away a penalty in the 86th minute, which was converted again by Ronaldo to complete his hat-trick, and one of the most famous nights in the competition's history. 3. Robert Lewandowski vs Real Madrid 2013. In a competition that showcases the greatest players in Europe, the Champions League is home to some of the greatest scorers in football history. Goals, braces, and even hat-tricks are common in the Champions League. But what is rare is a player scoring 4 goals in a game. In fact, this has only happened 14 times in the history of the competition, and one of them belongs to Polish striker Robert Lewandowski. Ahead of a semi-final clash between Dortmund and Real Madrid on the 23rd of April 2013, no player had ever scored a hat-trick against Real Madrid in the Champions League or a hat-trick in the Champions League semi-finals. But Lewandowski was about to change all that. He volleyed Dortmund into an early lead in Germany with just 8 minutes played, setting the tone for a night of dominance for the Germans. Despite Ronaldo drawing Madrid level, they were soon behind again after the break, through more brilliance from Lewandowski. But he wasn't done just yet. In the 55th minute, just 5 minutes after his second goal, he scored his best goal of the night to complete his hat-trick and give Dortmund one leg in the final. And in the 60th minute, he capped off a memorable night in Dortmund as he converted a penalty for his 4th goal of the night and one of the biggest defeats in the history of Real Madrid. The 4th goal will go down in the record books and is one of the most iconic games in the Champions League. 2. Tom Ovrobo vs Chelsea 2009. Few matchups in the Champions League have been as hotly contested as Chelsea vs Barcelona. From Ronaldinho's iconic goal in 2005 to Fernando Torres racing through on goal in 2012, this fixture is never shy of drama. But perhaps the most dramatic moment of them all came in the second leg of their semi-final clash on the 6th of May 2009. The first leg in Spain was a hard-fought game and ended in a 0-0 draw. But the second leg in London was set to provide a lot more entertainment and controversy. Chelsea raced into an early lead through Ghanaian midfielder Michael Essien after he sent a volley, flying past Barcelona keeper Victor Valdez. For the rest of the 90 minutes, the spotlight was on Norwegian referee Tom Ovrobo, who controversially waved off countless penalty claims from Chelsea. A 1-0 win was enough to send Chelsea through, but the referee denied them numerous chances to extend their lead from the spot, and even had Chelsea midfielder Michael Ballack chasing him across the pitch. Ovrobo's decision would prove vital to the end result as Andres Iniesta scored in stoppage time to send Barcelona through on away goals. The game remains as the most controversial match in the history of the competition and led to many claims of match fixing against Barcelona and UEFA. 1. Barcelona vs Paris Saint-Germain 2017. Saving the best for last, we round up our list with the most unlikely comeback in the history of the Champions League, and once again we go to Barcelona. Barcelona were drawn against Paris Saint-Germain in the round of 16 for the 2016-2017 season, but despite having the likes of Lionel Messi, Andres Iniesta and Neymar in their ranks, they were comprehensively beaten 4-0 in France through goals from Angel Di Maria, Julian Draxler and Cavani. No team in the history of the competition had overturned a 4-goal first-leg deficit, and Barca had an impossible task on their hands if they were to advance to the next round of the competition. Despite the heavy first-leg loss, the second leg at the Camp Nou had an attendance of 96,000 fans who all witnessed history. Barca pulled a goal back in just the 3rd minute of the game through Luis Suarez and doubled their lead in the 40th minute with a goal from Andres Iniesta. Despite leading 2-0 at half-time, Barca still had a significant mountain to climb to win the tie. However, in the 50th minute, they took a 3-0 lead through a Lionel Messi penalty, and fans inside the Camp Nou began to believe. But it was short-lived, as a Cavani goal in the 62nd minute left Barcelona needing 3 goals in 28 minutes to qualify. By the 88th minute, with the score still 5-3 to PSG on aggregate, all hope was seemingly lost. But Neymar scored 2 quick goals in the 88th and 91st minute to shock PSG and set up a dramatic end to the game. And PSG cracked under the immense pressure as Sergi Roberto scored the 6th goal in the 95th minute to send Barcelona through to the next round and complete the biggest comeback in the history of the Champions League. A special and iconic match for Barcelona and the world of football. That's it for today's video, guys. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more, and as always, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Till next time.